They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
A Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-24 APTA Tour presented by Volley. We're live from the Woodstock Club in Indianapolis, Indiana, bringing you the 2024 Indianapolis Open, which is the 14th stop on the 2023-24 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors Volley and Fusion, and local sponsors Matt King Realty, Woodstock Degenerates, Burge and Held, Silly Pint, High Alpha, Dinsmore Law, Bullet Bourbon, and Xenon Paddle. I'm Mike Raleigh, along with Ludo Aaron, bringing you the finals of the 24 Indianapolis Open between Durant and Mitchell and McNerney and West. Ludo, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Mike. Glad to be here on this nice sunny day in Indianapolis. So we got Durant, Mitchell, obviously familiar names in the sport, on the right-hand side, and we had McNerney, West on the left-hand side of the screen. On the umpire chair, Patrick Harrell from Indianapolis. Awesome job.
It's got a beautiful day for paddle there, it looks like. 20 so degrees, sunny skies.
I'm not sure about the sunny skies. I'm sure these guys would like it a little more dull than that, Mike.
Yeah, but you see they pull up the draw here. McNerney West beat Fraser Morgan 7-5, 6-1 in the semifinal. Went deep in the late at night. And Durant and Mitchell, it was a close two-setter, both double tiebreakers in the semis. They also had a third set win over Roms and Wagner in the quarters. It looks like 6-1, 6-1 in the second and third sets. I mean, we've got a lot of some great paddle played yesterday, huh, Ludo?
Absolutely. I know McNerney West, they scraped by one of the 16s, so they're pretty lucky to be here at this time, Mike.
And we're off with Eric West serving.
So a little advantage having a lefty on your team, would you say, with a little sun action going on?
And especially in that, it allows them to pick their side serving, that they're never serving into the sun, as well as, boy, with the overhead placement, that they can put the ball in positions that keeps the ball out of the sun and hit with an overhead, rather than maybe somebody getting out of position and hitting a high backhand overhead.
Absolutely. Now, if you're going to predict the outcome of this, Mike, who's your team? Because whoever you say, I'll go the other way.
I think Durant and Mitchell they've got something to prove, just in the sense that we were talking yesterday, that they have yet to win a tournament. And I believe they've lost in the finals of two of our Grand Prix tournaments to the one and only across the net, Graham McInerney.
So do you think he's the guy to beat these days, Mike, or are these guys still the GOATs?
Well, it's hard to ever pick against Durant and Mitchell. I really think it's where to pick them. If Vegas were going to say it's a pick 'em here. I don't know. I think we're in for a really long match. I packed a lunch, and I look forward to the next. What they played their final last week was 3 hours.
Was it the same teams, Mike?
No, McInerney was playing with Powers.
That's right. And that was in New Jersey?
That was in Short Hills.
Well, I don't know if anyone's seen this venue at Woodstock Country Club live, but this thing is a unique place to play paddle. It's in a ravine. It's awesome. Obviously, there's never any wind down here. It's a really nice atmosphere for a finals.
And this is the 50th annual Indianapolis Open. Is that correct?
That is correct. I mean, officially, I think it became an NRT national rated tournament maybe 25 years ago, but this is the 50th year we've actually held the tournament that's brought people from all over the country. I obviously wasn't playing back then, but there is one guy which I see outside Jack Hogan watching the finals that participated in that first 50th Indy Open tourney.
Jeez, Jack, you'll have to tell him I said hello.
Do you remember that guy? Yep, his son Slater played a little bit too. I will.
Steve Webster, you know, he was a Indianapolis paddle for years, and he had texted me last night saying, I remember when you came down and it was like 94. I drove down middle of the night because he hurt his back to play with his partner, Michael Sullivan, and that was probably, 30 years ago, so that was my first step into the Indianapolis paddle.
That's pretty funny. My first tournament was with Sully, myself at Indy. So maybe we'll have to get him on the interview screen. Anyway, back to the game here. It's deuce, so it's going to be a long day. Now, how much do you think the advantage is of serving these days, Mike? I mean, do you think it's a 50-50, or you think there's still an advantage on serving and holding?
I think with the cooler temperatures, so the nastier the weather, so colder, wet, you know, it tips the scales to the serving side because they can control the bowling at the net and it's not as bouncy off the back screens. So I'd say 45-55. You're at an advantage to be at the net right now because it is cold.
Now, if it was warmer, would you turn those tables around?
Absolutely. You know, I just think that the ability for the backcourt team to generate offense outweighs the team's ability at the net to hit, you know, killer overheads consistently.
Well, yesterday, I know, I'm not sure if you were live commentating, Mike, but the umpire's chair, there was no one there because it was frozen and we couldn't get up there and unfreeze it. So at least today, either this guy's got a cushiony bottom or we've got some padding for him for some warmth on that chair.
Yeah, whatever you're paying your umpires, it's not enough, I can tell you.
That's something I could not do. But I'm sure these players are super nice to them and understand it's a volunteer job, which is hard, and so hopefully they don't give them too much of a bad time if they make a wrong decision.
Yeah, I think you know their role in the chair is to call, I believe, to keep the score, to call foot faults, and if there's a discussion over a call between the players, the chair will make the determining call. But he does not call lines unless asked upon by the players.
Got it.
So I think the only thing that came in, there was one foot fault call on Stephen Mitchell last week in the finals, and it, I believe, was the right call. Boy, we see our first hard overhead into that back screen, and Graham nimbly gets out of the way, and there's our second hard overhead. And that intent, you know, that overhead is to create kind of, I call it create a little bit of chaos. And well, Johan really got Graham running around. Great blitz from Stephen Mitchell. Takes us back to what, our fifth deuce of the first game.
if this game continues, this match continues like this, I think we're going to be here till 6 o'clock tonight. So I'm hoping they got enough Bloody Mary juice to keep me in the seat.
I'm sure they've got backups for you. We'll be.
I know Zach Held likes hearing his own voice, so maybe we'll get him when I need a break.
Absolutely. Now, you and Zach, are you all the tournament chairs for?
I am the chair, and then he's on. We've got a little committee, and Zach's on the committee, and he did an unbelievable job recruiting a lot of top players. Brian Hagman is on the committee. Devin Anderson and I did a lot of the stuff to get the money, and I was doing the draws and so forth. So we're probably tournament directors. And Scott Dorsey is another guy on the committee that is a sponsor on one of his companies. And Jeff Minier also, who's head of the umpiring, was on our committee. So we had a good committee to take care of all these little things to make this thing work.
Yeah, it is amazing with these tournaments and how much volunteer work has to be done. You know, all of this it looks seamless, but without the volunteers, it's a really tough job. So shout out to all the volunteers at Indianapolis, as well as all over the country, that make these tournaments what they are.
Wow, well, that's a break right off the bat. So we may be here a little quicker.
You know, we'll be playing in the finals just like all the main draw matches, best 2 out of 3 regular scoring here. Tiebreaker at 6-all in any set. First to 7 win by 2. I mean, and then the back draws, what are they playing? 2 out of 3 with the match tiebreaker for the 3rd set, but we're in for the long haul here.
Well, I know we didn't have any really long semi-final matches. Is that right? I think were they all straight sets, Mike?
It was, the first one was 7-6, 7-6, and then McNerney and West beat Tyler Frazier and Adam Morgan 7-5, 6-1 in the second semifinal that we streamed. So they went late into the night, but they didn't, they started a little bit later, so.
Well, I know we were pretty lucky getting everything on time with a little ice situation yesterday morning, but everything panned out quite well for scheduling wise and live streaming. So what's the strategy here, do you think, for Randt and Mitchell to keep hitting on these guys? I mean, are they going to use big spin? Do you think they're going to be hitting rollers to the corners a lot?
I would suspect that they're going to avoid the offense from Eric West as best they can. And when in trouble, you know, I think their dump zone is going to be soft to Graham's forehand. But boy, I think the biggest thing here is that they can manage kind of when they're at the net, managing what kind of offense they're not giving the backcourt team. And Eric West, you've seen, he's got an offense from both sides. He's a lefty. But Graham's offense is much more of a, he loves to drive off the screen. His offense, he also loves to blitz. So if they can keep the ball deep and soft to him when in trouble, they're going to limit some of that.
Now, Graham doesn't like to hit his forehand. I bet he can hit it, but he just doesn't
absolutely.
like it. He is
yeah.
I think he's very analytical with the game. He's like, you know what? For me, hitting the forehand isn't worth it. I just won't miss one. And work on and use his strengths, like his off-the-screen backhands and his volleys, to compensate that.
Yeah, and just because he doesn't hit it doesn't mean he can't, like to your point.
So now and again, he'll sneak one in just to give the other team a little shock.
Keeps everybody a little honest, right?
Exactly.
We were at 1-all here in the first set.
right now, Mike, your 55 to 45 advantage for being the serving team or the net team is 100% wrong.
It's so far, so yeah. Maybe it's 50-50 as it's saying right now. But we're going to let it maturate a little bit here and see what comes out of this.
You know, last year for the finals, we had, I'm not very good with names, as you know, but we had the Indy 500 winner watch the finals and present the helmets at the end of the match.
Wow.
This year, I'm just gonna have to pick someone from the crowd.
You can fake it. Make them put one of the helmets on. They'll never know.
That's right.
40 love here. McNerney's got to turn it out to be a routine hold. Oh, I jinxed it. We had 2 missed returns by Randt and a fault by McNerney. 40-15.
With the name situation, my issues, it was Marcus Ericsson that won the Indy 500. It was the tournament sponsor last year. Presenter for the finals. Small guy. Likes to drive really fast.
Really fast.
I think I asked him in the interview, I was like, "Have you ever get pulled over?" And he said, "Yeah, sometimes." I said, "So what do you say?" "I'm just practicing."
You know, we saw this yesterday in the semifinals, Randt starting with the underhand serve. And he had 1 or 2 faults early on and kind of went away from that underhand serve. And he was doing it into both corners, both the ad and the deuce side. We usually see a lot of times that the righty serving into the deuce side will hit the underhand roller or the sidearm, and then hit the big tennis kicker into the ad side.
Now, these guys have been around for a while, right? So they weren't even around when that underarm serve really started, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they were part of the I'm trying to think that Johan won his first nationals in 2011, I believe. So it's been 13 years that he's been playing, and Stephen Mitchell has been playing with Johan since, what, 6 years now?
Did you see any underarm action then?
Not in 2011. I'd say that's a newer serve that's come into the game in the last 7-8 years.
Now, do you think there's any other opportunity for some new developments on the serve, like some kind of funky? I know you see it now and again. You know, people kind of spin it high and it comes back over, but that's not usually a very good percentage play. But do you see any other serves that might come into play, like just a little dink serve where you just, rather than rolling it, you almost have a little slice on it or flat so it barely goes over, it doesn't come up?
Yeah, I think though the problem is with both of those serves you mentioned, it's the lower you're hitting it over the net, the higher percentage that you're going to miss. So, this is minimizing your errors while not providing a ball that your opponent can kind of hit down over the net. And I mean, it'll probably make a liar out of me, but I don't see anything like that coming in on a consistent basis like the sidearm serve has.
Now, what's that funky serve that, who has that? It's Frazier has now and again that he uses. It's a reverse spin, kind of strange action.
Yeah, and at Short Hills, I think last year, was it Rams was hitting I think it was, I can't remember who was hitting it, but they had like 5 or 6 aces They're playing Durant and Mitchell, but he couldn't hit it consistently enough. I mean, it was a cool shot, but you know, it was all or nothing basically.
But we definitely got some height on this court with Graham is what is he, 6'3"?
Oh yeah, I would say easily, and then Johan is equal to that or close to it.
Short guys, Mr. Eric West.
I just got word from Patty Hogan. It was Randy Lofgren that was hitting that heavy cutter serve, and he'd have great movement on it, but I believe it was like 45 degrees, so the ball was pretty active. You know, on a 20-degree day like we got there today, that ball won't move that well. So there's where Graham is at his best in that little cat and mouse game of, you know, does he blitz, drive blitz? Does he come in behind his partners? Now, Ludo, you're at the Woodstock Club here right now, but Brian Hagman's the host professional there, right?
Correct. Correct. I think he's been here probably, I'm guessing, I don't know, he may have been here 8-10 years now.
Yeah, and then you're the director at Meridian Hills, and you guys are about to undergo a major.
That is correct. I think we did a couple of assessments, which probably everyone wasn't happy about. Got it passed, and we are getting 4 brand new courts, thank goodness, with a state-of-the-art paddle hut in the middle of the courts, which is awesome viewing with a rooftop. So I'm excited to get an upgrade, and it's paddle in Indy's getting bigger and bigger every year, and it's going to be great to have a new facility that competes with those ones in Chicago and East Coast and so forth.
Boy, and you see Eric West step forward and bring this ball back to Deuce with a sweet drop shot there. And you know, with the lower temperatures, the drop shot is much more of a weapon because the ball isn't as bouncy. Love the blitz there, but Mitchell missed it a little long.
Wow, a little wild. That looked like that was a 40 love point, but it was an ad point, so a little ambitious on that one.
Well, and I think, you know, you have a great volleyer who loves to hang and be all over the net, and Durant's
Gotcha. Well,
kind of drive there was up near the chest of McNerney, potentially sending a message. But speaking of message, we have a reading here from Volley for you.
okay, Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA. As the first AL-enabled training experience, Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic system for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a better community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practice. Ask your pro about a volley lesson a day. For more information, visit getvolley.com. Wow, that was a long one. You can do that next, Mike. Chief communicator, so there's no confusion.
I think both is better than none, but one chief is better than probably both.
Looks like these rollers are coming into play with Randt Mitchell. A lot of spin on that overhead from West. Do you think he's the spinniest guy on the court?
Boy, I think they all can utilize that spin and use it. The difference maker might be that he's the sole lefty, where he's rotating the ball in an opposite direction. And in this side of the court, Stephen Mitchell is looking right into the sun. So if he hits that big cutter into the side screen and it bites. Boy, boy, and you hear Eric West say bad ball. He laid that little shallow in the court right to Mitchell's forehand. Kind of fed the beast there.
Sometimes people volley kind of short to bait the other players, but with this level, top players in the country, I'm not sure if that's a great, smart play.
No.
Well, we've got some viewers from all over the world watching this. I think I got some family members in England that are watching this and like, what is this sport that you're doing? Freezing cold. You can't put the ball away.
Boy.
I couldn't even see that. That was so fast.
Yeah, that, again, that is, there's nobody that hits that shot better. And it really adds an element of kind of unease when they're in the backcourt. That the threat of that hard overhead coming at you doesn't allow you to dig in and kind of just pump up lobs.
It's a great camera angle to watch this match, but bad news is on this camera angle is that you can't see the crowd that are out there, and there's a ton of people. There's fire pits, there's food, there's drinks, a Bloody Mary bar. A lot of people watching this and excited, so the ambiance is here for sure.
I'm sure they've got plates full of that candied bacon too.
You know what? That sounds pretty good. I might have to do a little search for that when Zach's ready to take my spot for a bit. If you just watch their actual eyes and head when they're striking the ball, I mean, it's paddle 101, right? Keep your eye on the ball, but these guys, when they're striking and they're lobbing, will keep their head on the paddle and not even look where that ball's going, because they know exactly where it's going, and it's true concentration.
Yeah, you know, nobody is better at that than, yeah, I mean, Johan, if you watch him hit that backhand lob, he is, you know, he's almost Federer-esque when he hits and hold, and Graham does it too.
I think their strategy, and I think that's the way they play to Randt and Mitchell, is they do hit bigger balls. I mean, they do hit a little harder than most players. Would you agree?
I think they absolutely bring it, situationally speaking, with the overheads. I think they can kind of shift into that hard, you know, that hard overhead, and then when they get in trouble or they're backing off the net, it's that reset that goes in low and slow, deep in the court. Got Randt and Mitchell here 4-3 in the first set. You know, we've seen the last 3 games, they've won 2 out of 3, you know, with a 40-love, 40-15 lead. Kind of getting ahead early in the games and staying ahead.
Now, what is the time frame that these guys can break on odd games? Is it? I should know, but
I think it's 1 minute on changeovers and 20 minutes between points. I think they were getting a new ball there.
do you think the umpire would have his clock on and be like, or is that something that we don't really worry about because the momentum of the game's fine? And do you see that?
You know, you have seen, I think, in Short Hills last week, I did hear that Johan Randt was serving, and you're also supposed to play to the pace of the server. And there was 1 or 2 times, and I don't know which match it was earlier in the tournament, but he was ready to serve, and the returners weren't playing to the pace of the server. And I think that it was mentioned, and then they kind of moved on from there.
So no warning, no penalty point.
I don't think so. I think it's there isn't. I think it's more of a pace of play situation where they might get a talking point with the offending party.
Well, there's been no dispute so far in this, so it's so far a gentleman's game.
Well, and I think your experience is probably the same as mine. That that's one of the beautiful things about platform tennis is that it is. I mean, it's such a social sport. Although these guys are as competitive as the next guy, there is that level of, like you said, gentleman's game. That all four players out there are absolute top-notch players, but also great ambassadors of the game.
It's the hard roller. A lot of hard balls coming from Randt and Mitchell. And tell you what, that Eric hit that ball though, can't he? He just doesn't look like he's big and strong, but he can hit it.
He absolutely tattoos it. And he hits a heavy ball as well. He could really rotate the ball with topspin. And I think if you notice that some of the things that they're struggling with most with the volleys aren't the super hard, flat balls that are coming in at waist high. It's the balls that are dipping below net level. I mean, if we were going to go through and watch this entirety of the match and see players that are volleying the ball from below net level, the number, the percentage of misses is probably 3 times what it would be at the waist high balls.
Well, I think you may have taught me this on when you qualified myself for APTA Pro or whatever, but down the middle solves the riddle, right?
That's not a bad quote. I mean, at the highest level, it's one of the most overused areas of the court because it's one of the safest. And at the lower levels, it's probably the most underused portion of the court.
Correct. I agree. They think screens. And again, I think the lower level, I mean, they're going to miss a few screens. At the higher level, you never miss a screen, so. Oh, my goodness.
Man down.
Can we get that in slow motion?
Clean up on aisle 2.
Oh, my goodness,
Wow.
You did it. Wow, one more time.
Wow. What a great volley. Little help from the net, but it's amazing to see the range here. Durant's, one full step over the center hash there, ripping that forehand.
Some fast-paced paddle.
Real fun to watch.
That's a big miss
Boy,
from
did that
Graham.
come off I think that came off the top of the beam. Almost went out of the court, and that would have obviously been a lost point for Durant. We were talking about Graham McNerney last night and how he is such a a great. I called him a chameleon because he was able to play with the multitude of players and in matching different styles of play. And it's really a shout out to him for his ability to kind of manage different partnerships and play both sides equally as well.
And I think if you look at the rankings, APTA men's rankings, I think you see his name with numerous partners.
Well, he is, that comes into the APTA Cup, which is a season-long race, a point race, and Graham is at the top of that list right now. The APTA is putting out $50,000, in breaking it down from the top players. And I think they play they get points for going deep into tournaments.
So that is a tour event or Grand Prix?
I think it's so far it's everything except the nationals. So I think we're in our 14th tournament of the series here. And they play equal amounts, 25,000 to men and 25,000 to women. I think it's $10,000 prize for the first place.
Wow. And then Graham's in the good standing for that, I presume.
He, after his finish, my statistician, Patty Hogan, texted me that after his win in Short Hills last, he's the first, Jose Salazar's second, Tyler Frazier is third, with Adam Morgan close fourth. So,
well, maybe I should have charged Adam and Tyler a little bit of money staying at my place this weekend.
Yeah, you could do it retroactively.
We can take it out of the prize money.
Yeah. Randt Mitchell here with the break. A 5-3, nice little touch from McNerney to take us to 30-all.
Now that was pretty close, Graham's volley, to being over the other side of the net. So who is supposed to call that? Would the umpire get involved with that if he actually did reach over the net? Obviously he's got to make contact on his side, but if he didn't and he broke the plate on that, whose call is that?
Well, if it's an unofficiated match, I know it's the offending team, but I would assume that is the same, and this is again an assumption, not that's a call on, it's like a double bounce or the football. That would be something that the chair umpire would call. Great point we got going here. Wow.
I'm not sure if that was the right time to pull the trigger on that, but great touch from Graham again up at the net, just moving them forwards and back, and 2 unforced errors.
Boy, this, and you see how close to the net Graham is, and I mean his hands are so amazing, but he's basically committing to volley on those hard balls. 6 boards wide with the space, hip to hip is what he's committing to, and anything outside of that, he'll generally let go through and play it off the back screen.
And that's 3 round stroke unforced errors from Randt Mitchell, which is big in a row.
Well, and as a paddle pro, where do you teach your students to miss?
Well, I'm not
longer into the net.
Absolutely.
So I mean, that may be a product too of the lower temperatures. You know, their aim points are, ball's not.
Well, that was set point, and a missed roller overhead to the middle of the court, which is kind of a strange play.
Sorry, Ludo, I think I'm back. I had some
I thought I was on my
internet
own for a
issues.
while. I was talking to myself again.
Well, that's nothing new. You're used to that.
I was telling Mike earlier that I had some long matches yesterday, and I had to shower, got home, and, you know, shower, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to have to run a bath. I'm sore as can be, and I'm in the bathtub listening to Mike Riley commentate. It's something I don't want to think about again.
You poor thing. Do you have the candles on?
I did not, no.
Wow. We have Randt and Mitchell now. McNerney and West fought off 2 set points, was it?
2 set points and pretty unforced
Big
errors.
hold. And that 55-45, how are we looking now at a 5-4? We're getting a little closer to my prediction. And you see that Randt he's a quick player. He likes to play fast. To your point earlier, he was kind of sitting there waiting for Graham and Eric to be ready to return. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Mitchell serving. He was in the sunlight. He's quick too.
What is it with these South Africans, Mike, that we've got so many players that are so good?
Well, I don't know, but they're as talented as anybody. And you can't teach speed, you can't teach talent. So, I mean, that is an amazing overhead where he strikes it at kind of below shoulder level, lands it deep, and not much West could do with that ball.
Oh, wow. Good drive. He just pulls that trigger out of nowhere.
Yeah, he really snaps that two-hander, doesn't he? You know, and it looks to me as if the strategy is holding true of working a little bit more of West corner.
I think this is probably the most important point of the match so far, so it's probably going to be super long and well concentrated.
Wow, that's a great overhead. This game in first set. We will be back after these messages.
So what really interested me about the trainer was the endless opportunities with it. I've gone through a couple ball machines in my career before, and this really was a technologically advanced machine that I've never seen before. Digging into it a little more in depth, I really found the opportunities to use it in my advantage. All right, ladies, just 1 minute, we'll get started. Always trying to recreate these tennis ball machines into paddle ball machines to practice, and this was the first thing on the market that really came out. We have a robust membership here, very active in the paddle community, and I think the volley is going to kind of put us over top as a program. All right, ladies, welcome. All right, today we're going to go over our side back screens. So we've got the volley trainer out here with us today. We'll have 2 on this side hitting. So the cool part about the volley is during lessons when I'm able to use it is I really get a more in-depth connection with my clients. So when I have a lesson out on the court, I can set up the volley to feed a screen, and I don't have to be on the other side of the court kind of yelling to them what they need to change, what they need to do while I'm hitting. I'm really using my time with them right next to them to make those changes quicker so they can have more success in the long term. Bridget's on the net, Robin sliding over. We are going to be beat by this cross-court lob a lot. I'm Blake Anderson, Director of Rackets at Fairmont Country Club. Try the volley at your club and you won't regret it.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're live from the Woodstock Club, bringing you the 2024 Indianapolis Open Finals. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside Ludo Aaron. We've got Randt and Mitchell just won the first set 6-4 over McNerney and West. I believe we jumped right back out on that court. We're in the first game of the second set here. McNerney West are up 30-love, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, it's 15-all. Ludo, any thoughts on that first set?
Well, I think a couple of loose points here and there. It was a good set. They're controlling the points, and they're controlling the points, I feel like, with more speed when they're up at the net with the heavy rollers and the harder balls and the overhead, you know, is hitting this like that. I mean, they're hitting big into the corners and controlling the points because they can't really hurt you with that. And I think West is awesome off the deck. They're not giving him opportunities with the way they're playing.
Yeah, and I think that's, you see it, he's over on the ad side right now. And the majority of the balls that he is seeing in the backcourt are of that heavy roll variety. And, you know, I think it's paying dividends in the sense that they won more points than they gave on shots like that. I think Mitchell and Randt are committed to making West beat them off the hard screens rather than off the deck. Boy, that's a great blitz behind the drive from Randt. Takes a double break point to start the second set here.
Wow. Not a good start for Graham and Eric right off the bat, so that's a momentum swing in itself.
And it's a bit of a statement game. I think, you know, a lot of us, and myself included, sometimes get a false sense of security when we win the first set. And, you know, you come out and it's like, okay, we got that in the bank. And Mitchell and Randt did a good job of kind of taking it to the other direction and really focusing on that first game, making it basically a statement. And we'll see if they carry this momentum into the latter parts of this set.
It's another one. What just happened there, Mike?
I believe he must have grazed him.
Wow. They're turning it on.
You know, I think that, too, another differentiator so far in the match has been, you know, I had said earlier that Graham and his ability to move north to south and blitz behind it is one of his strengths. I think a big thing thus far has been Mitchell's ability to blitz in. And he's already won a handful of points making that blitz move, you know, either behind his drive or Durant's drive.
Oh my word, these guys are getting some firepower, so we may be shaking hands sooner or later unless Graham and Eric change their strategy a little bit. I'm not sure what to do against these boys.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the best teams when they are firing on all cylinders. You know, there's no place to hide. I mean, we've seen it if they go into kind of this lob mode, how Mitchell and Durant have been able to speed those overheads up. And then in the backcourt, they're bringing the Thunder off of both corners and driving the ball really well. It's a good look there. I think Durant maybe cut it a little too thin, but
Good dig. All right, this is a big point. Being a break up and 2-zip up in the second set. But anything can happen quick in paddle. A couple of loose points here and there, or a couple of lucky breaks could turn this match around. Definitely not giving Eric any looks off the deck. They're making him play screenplay. I'm not sure if that was a sun issue.
well, he had his back to his son.
Well, do you know what I was going to say? Now I'm looking on the court, I don't see any sun.
Yeah, maybe
That
it was
way.
in the.
Maybe it was the snow issue.
There you go.
Oh my word, that's a big lucky break.
When things are going your way, they're going your way. Cut her off the top of the tape. And then the sorry.
Sorry, thank you.
Boy, it's fun to see the range of McNerney and Durant. They really, they have those 1 to 2 steps, and they're basically covering 80% of the court.
I think that's pretty much the matchup. It looks to me that it's Durant and Graham. Similar-ish games to Weston Mitchell. They're similar. I mean, it's a rare error. I think that's a shot clock violation. What do you think, Mike?
I agree with that. Yes, sir. And why do you think, Ludo, that, we don't see a lot of one-handed backhand drives? You see Durant will bring that out once in a while. I think Matic Szerzynski will hit it once in a while, but there isn't anybody that really brings it like a two-hander.
I just think it's a different sport, right? The paddle balls and the paddles are a little heavier, so it's a little harder on the wrist. And I think two hands. I mean, you can dig better with two hands in the screen, and I'm guessing you can hit the ball harder with two hands.
Well, I think the ability to use that left hand or that non-dominant hand it's almost like a lefty forehand for a right, two-handed player. I don't know if they can get the racket head through the ball quicker.
Well, I'm sure, Mike, people are getting sick of my voice because I can kind of hear myself on the mic too, because that's a weird feeling. So I'm going to take a little break, if you're okay with it. I'm going to put Dr. Zach Held
Oh,
on
man.
the line, and I know it's not going to be as fun at all. It's going to be miserable for you, but we're going to have to do this. But Dr. Held had a great tournament, got to the quarterfinals and took the number 4 seed. And again, I'm not good with names, if you know, Mike, but to 3 sets. Lost in the tiebreak in the first, won the second, and I think run out a little steam in the third, but probably their best tournament, him and Ronnie Snyder. So you're going to see a lot of those guys coming up the next couple of tournaments, or at least nationals. Mike, it's been a pleasure. I may jump on again, but I'm going to give Zach the head.
Okay.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate. Wow, fantastic get, Mitchell. Little tattoo you. Got Graham in the backside, I believe.
Mike Raleigh, Zach Held checking in with you.
Zach Held, welcome.
Thank you, brother.
I am impressed with the tournament thus far. You guys are doing a great job.
Oh man, we had a lot of fun putting it together. A lot of love, a lot of people, a lot of talented people putting this one on this year, and they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about the awards given at the end with the helmets, and I think that has got to be the coolest trophies.
Well, we were inspired by the Edwin Lewis put on the bourbon ball, and he had the bourbon barrels made into the trophy, and we were like, all right, what's the most Indianapolis trophy we can put together? And we were like, IndyCar helmets.
There you go. There you go.
It was an absurd idea, and but we did it.
Good work.
And
now,
they're the real deal. They're the real
Yeah.
helmets. Like, I mean, you're talking couple $1,000s per helmet. If they put them on eBay.
And have you been watching the finals here the entire time?
Well, I was actually playing, so I
Okay.
got a little delayed in my 5th and 6th match with the other Springbok South African team, Ryan Baxter, Ricky Heath. But they put it on us pretty good, so I was able to get over here. So yeah, I caught up a little bit. I mean, what's your assessment so far? I know you've been running through it, but catch me up.
Ludo and I were saying that, you know, the strategy when Randt and Mitchell are at the net, it appears to be that they're playing kind of fast and through Eric West's corner.
Yeah.
Trying to limit the number of balls that Eric can drive off the deck, forcing him to kind of create a little more offense off the back screen or off the screens.
Well, and what I would tell you after playing out here, the screens here are pretty soft. You're getting soft bounces. You're getting some unpredictable bounces compared to, I think, what these guys are used to. So, overhitting screens a little bit is definitely been the play, and it's really cold. Like it's I mean, it probably feels like 10 degrees out there to these guys. I know it's sunny, but I can tell you it's very cold out there. We played an exhibition Friday night, and I mean, we had ice on the paddle in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I heard great things about that night too.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a tribute to Johan and Steven, the kind of class acts that they are. I mean, they so gracious with their time. With, a lot of the players out there were beginner level or intermediate club level, and I mean, those guys just were so patient with them, so nice, and I know the locals all really appreciated it.
And then the men's 90s is coming on. They're playing their match. Got snowed out Friday.
We got an epic rematch war from the Pittsburgh 90s with Tom Weesey and John Baxter, unrelated to Ryan, against Ed Burns and Ryan Baxter. So we got the brothers Baxter going at it.
we've seen here McNerney and West have somewhat righted the ship and swung the momentum in the opposite direction after dropping a 2-love lead.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're trying to, take the air out of the ball a little bit. Obviously Eric struggles with that at times because he wants to go, go, go. But against Johan and Steven, there's only so much they're going to give you to be able to do that.
Yeah, you really, I think him trying to play fast with the balls that they're giving him he's almost would be falling right into their trap, so to speak.
100%. Yeah, it just, again, it's cold out there. So, I mean, even at Eric, 100% swing, it's just not going to hurt them. like, the only way you're going to, you got to work the point. You got to push them back. You got to get the ball down. That's the only thing that's going to win a point. You're not going to hit through them. Well, and I think too, the other challenge against Johan and Steven is they spend probably double the amount of time as their opponents in the blue. I mean, they're always on. They're always taking the net. They're always putting pressure. They just force you into a corner in the back of the court, and it's just so hard to put pressure on them. I think I jinxed Johan by saying they don't miss volleys.
I think you did.
I got him.
Second set is tied at 2 games apiece.
Well, and to Graham and Eric's credit, I mean, you're talking two of the most confident 20-year-olds you've ever met. I mean, they both have no doubt that they can win this match. And I think it starts there. I mean, if you don't believe you can beat Johan and Steven, you already lost.
Yeah.
And I think the belief on this side of the court is not lacking in any way, shape, or form. So I think they'll keep fighting here. I'd like to see them, continue to find their backhands. You're not going to live on Steven and Johan's forehand side. You gotta find their backhands, and then you got to move in for some offensive volleys. And take some chances with that, because if they're just banging forehands at you, you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, and Graham's beating himself up. We've had uncharacteristic missed overhead and a fault.
Yeah, that's not like him at all. But I like Eric's aggression there. Like he's looking to attack the net, and he's got to do it. There's no other option. And he's equipped to do it. He's good. He knows how. Like you get Eric on top of the net, he can win some points. There we go. Mike jinxed Eric too. Get him every time. Oof.
30-40.
It's interesting. I think, in most matchups, having the lefty-righty combo is an advantage. I almost see it as more harmful here because that, your middle becomes a little harder to defend, and every little bit that's harder to defend against Johan and Steven is just makes it that much more difficult, because you're not really getting much of an advantage with a lefty overhead, because you're either hitting into Steven's forehand or Johan's forehand.
That's a great point.
I mean,
and the other thing is that Graham is at his best on top of the net, really working the stuffing volleys, drop
100%,
shots.
100%.
And does West have the overhead to break down the Mitchell forehand or the Randt forehand into that deuce corner?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not
so.
sure anybody does, frankly.
So
Going that way. I mean, I think. yeah, I mean, the most success I've ever had against those guys was from Brad Smith's overhead, who he is going right side wire, ad court side wire all day.
Yeah.
And I mean, we didn't even hit another spot in the court. And I just think that's the overhead that just has to be used against these guys. You can't. Everything else is just risky.
Yeah, there's really no place to hide. And it's funny, there's you know, with McNerney, you see McNerney and West in the backcourt now. You know, the only effective overhead that they've had so far for Randt and Mitchell has been the speed up overheads into West corner. Don't know what happened there. Was it a sun ball?
Possibly. The sun's really bright. I mean, you can see it shimmering off the snow. But yeah, it's pretty sharp. And you're right in Steven's face right now. Right in Johan's face right now. And you know, we always talk about how important lobbing is out here, and Eric and Graham are two of the best lobbers, and they've just got to be dialed in with that. They gotta push them behind the service line. They got to get them back, create some space,
And using that lob to create the drive space is what you're saying,
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
See, and that's the blitz that we've seen happen so often in the last set and a half. This takes us to a notice from our sponsors. In collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from a top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience, complemented by custom online storefronts, swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise.
Critical game here, Mike. You don't want to go down 4-2.
Well, and boy, they thought that was going out and walked right down on the line.
Sure looked like it. That's just bad luck. But I think too that that goes into what I was talking about earlier with the softer screens. I mean, if you're getting softer balls into these screens, good things are happening. You can overhit them and not worry about them coming out too hard, but if you can get them dying on the side or the back wires, it's you're going to win the point.
And you take that 20-degree weather. Ball definitely isn't coming off those screens.
Mike, there was a question in the chat about whether Zach Held has a headband on commentating.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Unfortunately, with the headset, I had to take it off.
We were talking in the Gear by Fusion. Oof. Maybe get the Zach Held signature headbands.
Oh, that's a dream.
Do you have a logo, we could put on there?
I mean, I would have to design one. Tiger Woods isn't using the TW anymore. Maybe I'll just take that.
The CH, how about that?
There you go.
That works as well.
Fun fact, last year when we sent IndyCar our Indy Open logo, the marketing team for IndyCar looked at it and said, yeah, we're not putting that on one of our helmets. So they redesigned it for free for us.
Oh, did they really?
So the new logo is IndyCar designed. Yeah. Well, Mike, they got it back. They needed it, and they got it. That was big.
Crazy.
That was
Momentum
big.
shifts are fast and furious in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Johan and Steven up 4-2 looks a whole lot different than them fighting it back to 3-all. I like their chances to fight this setback now. And I feel like we say big. This is a big game now.
They're all big, aren't
I
they?
feel
at
like
this
each
point?
one of those games gets bigger. They keep getting bigger. It's so interesting when you see a guy like Johan play, Mike. I don't think you'd ever teach that drive from halfway in the green on a normal basis
No,
to your players.
we got to be a little bit more on the basics level of driving from the blue, lobbing from the green. You know, but some of the things that these guys do so well, and it doesn't get, you know, the top players, everybody looks at where Eric West backhand or, you know, Graham McNerney's drop shot, and Mitchell forehand, or, you know, what they do so well in their neutral to defensive play is even more impressive to me. How they're able to neutralize, you know, the best players in the world.
100%. Yeah, we are. You know, you always say they're never out of position. You know, that was the greatest thing I ever saw with Jared Palmer. My brother asked me after the match. He's like, what'd you see? What makes Jared so good? I was like, he was never out of position for one shot ever the entire match. and that's how these guys are too. They're never out of position.
And if they are, it's they're one step away from a nice, easy recovery, right?
Sure. Yeah, and that's just their ability to think through the game and how long they've played and just the subtlety and the nuance of that you might, you know, that doesn't always show up on, you know, like you said, with the big swings, the big shots. Oh no. Ooh. Got it to drop. Well, thank you very much.
Wow, some great hands there.
God, that one hurts.
Randt.
That hurts, Mike. That you know, if we're handing trophies out in 15 minutes, I think you can look back at that point as that stings. He's got to get that ball in play.
Yeah, it was basically just a reset lob that, you know, all he needs is to lift and give him time to get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, at this level, you just there is no room for, you know, what you would see as maybe not a bad error, but again, at this level, it's it'll cost you. Just the smallest mistake can really snowball.
Here we see a similar pattern to what Randt and Mitchell have done all day.
Yeah, Eric's getting a little flustered, little frustrated. He's got to put it away. Got to let it go. Move on. Yeah, that's tough.
It's great. You know, and it's not only the roll, but that depth on that ball is kind of jamming up and into Eric West. It's tough to time off the deck.
Well, you know, it's just that subtle pressure that Johan and Steven are always applying to you. You're always uncomfortable. You don't know what shot's coming, and honestly, Mike, it wears on you over time.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing some cumulative trauma on Eric, where it just it's hard to let it all go, and stay in the moment, which he's got to do right here. He's got no time. It's got to be right now. Yeah. You know, kind of, you know, in poker terms, you know, you say a guy's on tilt, like, you know, he's getting a little rattled. He's making some decisions that he normally would not. And you know, I'd say in this sport, you know, there's physical pain, but there's mental trauma that goes through the course of a tournament.
Yeah, it's do or die time now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good answer, Mike, for him. If I was coaching out there, they're running into a buzzsaw. Well, and I think on the bright side for nationals and paddle as a whole, you're really seeing Johan and Steven round into form for nationals, and you know they haven't played as much as previous years. I know they haven't been practicing as much or doing the things they had done in previous seasons, but it's great to see them in form coming up to the biggest tournament of the year, and particularly in Boston for those guys. You know, hometown nationals, Hall of Fame inductions. I mean, what a special way to you know, what most likely is wrapping up a career.
Well, he was feeling it there.
Oh yeah, he was.
From the service line, cutter.
That gives you a window into their mindset right now. They see blood in the water, Mike.
And it's, you know, this is, I think, what, our 14th tournament?
Yes. Yep.
Out of a total of 16 for the year?
Yeah, on the tour, for sure. Did you guys talk about potentially Graham wrapping up the tour title? I heard rumors of that. I have not confirmed that.
Well, he is the point leader now as of last week.
Well, we heard if he got to the finals here that it's over. That's what somebody said. That could be fake news, Mike, but I have heard that. Maybe Tiernan can confirm that for me. I know she's listening. But congratulations to Graham if that's the case. That'll take a little of the sting out of this one, I think.
Yeah, you know, winning does that to a. And you know and you had said nationals. We're up in Boston at the Country Club. I got to talk about a little bit about the team nationals that are coming up in April 6th, 7th. Exmoor has been the host site for the tournament since its inception. This year we've got the women and the men are out in New Jersey. We're currently at in a wait list situation with I think 60 teams already led into the tournament. So it's one of the biggest undertakings of the year. But a fun event for 6 to 7, 8 players on a team. They play 3 lines.
Yeah, I talked to Amin Kaderi a little bit about it, and he was just so excited. I mean, the turnout, the amount of participation, and the feedback from players just loving the event is what a great way to incorporate a team aspect to what's largely an individual sport. Those are my favorite moments. I mean, I know you played a few President's Cups back in the day, and I think You know, losing true President's Cup at Nationals, I think the Team Nationals has been a nice fill-in from the APTA on, you know, to get some of that energy that President's Cup used to provide.
You know, and it too is it too is for everyone. I mean, you know, the PTIs kind of the ranges from, you know, top level all the way down to, you know, I've got Series 13, Series 15 women that are going to play in it. So it kind of gives a little bit of everything, but that you do get that team aspect, which I think is fantastic. This takes us to what I believe
This is match point.
match point.
Yep. Yeah, I love Graham and Eric's fight, but I think the writing might be on the wall on this one, Mike.
I mean, as a fan of the game, I hope not. I hope it goes 7-5 in the third set. Goes the distance to a tiebreaker. I think I've lost bigger leads than this. So.
I know I have. I remember them all.
You never forget them, do you?
Oof, what a volley. Not many guys keep that in the court. On the forehand side like Johan did.
And you see the players, how they get on those short lobs. They tend to clinch a little bit. The threat of that heavy forehand coming at them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. I'll tell you that.
And as a general rule, the more important the point, the longer the point.
Yeah, I think I don't know that Eric and Graham can get a switch, but oh, wow, that was a gift.
Takes us back to deuce, one match point saved.
I love that from Eric. I love that aggression on the net. I think if they are going to claw their way back, it's going to be from aggressive volleying. They gotta put the volleys on the side wire, and they gotta just put their face in front of the freight train, Mike.
Drinking from a fire hose.
Oh yeah, that's,
right.
There's no other option. You know, like Graham there. I mean, what a great volley. I mean, I think, you know, Eric and Graham won that game on volleys, on hands, and they're gonna need more of that if they want to keep this going. And the good news is they're both capable. I mean, they two of the fastest hands on the tour. Like to see a lot of lobs here out of Eric and Graham. Take the air out of the ball. Nothing fast. Don't get impatient. You got all day to play this game. Well, they're switching sides. Mike, what do you think about that?
I like it. You know, it's putting West in that opposite corner that now if they leave a ball hard off the backside screens, he can drive it, but we got to make sure that we're getting into the point here.
Yeah, that's my problem with it. I think you lose Graham's just ability to tremendously defend that side of the court. I just know he's just naturally more comfortable on that deuce side. And this is not a time for, this isn't cutesy time. This is do what you do well and only do what you do well. Time.
Lock it down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you didn't bring it, you're not going to find it on this court right now. you gotta know you can
Great
do
point.
it. Yeah, I think back to what we were originally talking about. I mean, I look to Eric and Graham to again take the air out of the ball. They need to grind. They need to grind these points out as long as it takes. They need to wear Johan and Steven out from boredom, if nothing else, because that's the only way you're getting out of this game.
Well, we know that Graham can play just about any style. And question will be, does Eric West have kind of that in him as well?
Man, I know he's smart enough. Is he willing? That's the question. He's got that dog in him. He wants to go. He wants to fight. And I mean, Mike, you look at that. I mean, those balls are hit so hard, and I'm not sure you saw Steven or Johan move more than an inch to deflect them. And Eric is killing that ball. Yeah, they need to take a page out of your friend Peter Burka's Winter Warrior lessons from the Winter Warrior. Yeah.
Wow, what an overhead there. Gets the ball to bite on the side screen.
Yeah, that's, you know, the screens are soft, my man. I mean, they are eating those balls up. They're not coming out. They're not coming off. Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go. Game, set, and match.
Wow.
Randt Mitchell, 6'4", 6'4". I believe that we're going to have a little award ceremony on the court.
Yeah, from my understanding, we're going to do a little interview with the guys, and I mean, what a treat for Indianapolis to you know, to get to see Johan and Steven, and that's a worthy victory, and I'm glad to see him get it, because that's just great.
And I think, you know, it's to your point, they'll be riding a little bit of a wave now, a momentum into, you know, nationals, which is just a couple weeks away. I think we have Philadelphia next week. It'll be a live stream on Saturday. It's a one-day tournament.
Peak players can learn a lot just listening to the live streams.
So true, and here come the helmets.
Oh man, I can't wait to see these unveiled. I was talking to last year's champs last night, Dan Hirsch and Dan Hansen, and I was like, you know, you guys really should be presenting these helmets, like putting them on their head. But
and now they get to keep the helmets, right?
They keep them. Oh yeah, those are going in their office. Imagine you'll be able to find them at Johan and Steven's Boston Pickleball Club.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, I have to say, I'm really impressed. I'm always impressed with the job that you guys do down in Indianapolis. You know, as a player, as a former player, it was a highlight to get down there, and you guys have done a great job.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Yeah, we, you know, I know we can be a bit of a backwater on the paddle tour, but you know, we got a lot of heart. We put a lot of heart and soul and sponsorship into bringing the best players out here, and I mean, what a treat. I think the tournament ended up at a 375 multiplier. Which, the way they do the multipliers now this year, I'm not sure if that's the highest non-Grand Prix, but boy, it's got to be close.
Yeah. It looks like your partner in crime, Ludo Aaron's going to be doing a little bit of the interview here.
Oh yeah, we need to. Yeah, Ludo's been having a great time. He's worked his butt off all weekend to put on a great event. And
all right, hey guys, you want to come on up? We're going to start right here. Well, welcome everybody to the 50th anniversary of the Indy Open. We've had a phenomenal weekend this weekend. Let's round of applause for our finalists. Yeah. a tremendous weekend of paddle. Despite some weather on Friday, we made all of our teams made it, and it's just been a spectacular weekend, and we're so grateful to have everybody here to Indianapolis. I would like, the APTA folks had mentioned to me this is the strongest draw we've this season outside of Grand Prix, so we're grateful for you guys to be here. Before the presentation, thank you. I'd want to make some thank yous. First of all, I want to thank the APTA teams and everything they've done to help us orchestrate this event, particularly the spectacular Leslie Parsons, who's the general in the hut. Our national sponsors, the APTA national sponsors, Volley and Fusion. And our local sponsors, I want to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Matt King Realty, and our gold level sponsors, High Alpha, Virgin Held, Silly Pint, Strong by Nature, Southern Glacier Wine and Spirits, and Bullet Bourbon. They were popular this weekend. Xenon Paddle, Dinsmore Law, the Woodstock Degenerates. If you know, you know. And the numerous other supporters and sponsors of this event. We're so grateful. Thank you so much for your support. And we look forward to next year as well as we continue to build our tournament. I want to thank the organizing committee. By the way, my name is Devin Anderson, one of the tournament directors with Ludo and Brian. And I want to thank our committee that helps us pull this off. Scott Dorsey is here today with us as well. Greg Brazzi, Spencer Fields, Zach Held, big contributor, and Jeff, the General Meunier, huge contributor as well, who helps us with our umpires and our volunteers, etc. Thank you to our organizing committee. Thanks so much for what you guys do. And I want to thank the clubs, too, the participating clubs, in particular Woodstock and Meridian Hills. You know, the weather threw us a little bit of curveball, and particularly here, the grounds crew at Woodstock Club, led by Rich, were phenomenal. They literally came at 1 o'clock in the morning after Saturday morning to make sure that our day yesterday was very safe and playable. So thank you to the clubs, and particularly Rich and his crew. I want to thank Mark Miles, who is the president and CEO of Penske Entertainment and oversees the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and all the racing, and you'll understand why in a second. He's been a generous supporter and helps and provides our trophies, which we think are unique and different. So here we are. I'd like to thank Graham and Eric. Thank you guys for coming, for being fabulous competitors. You've had a fantastic season. And we're grateful to have you guys here, and we look forward to having you next year as well. Okay? So now for the trophy presentation, shall we pull these out? For our champions of the 50th anniversary of the Indy Open, we have, for Johan Duran and Stephen Mitchell, the unique trophies. These are authentic motor. Johan. He looks like Darth Vader. Yeah.
We should have you play paddle with this thing.
Yeah. Well, based on last night's match, maybe. So these are actually real. They're actually the real deal racing helmets that the Indianapolis 500 and open wheel drivers utilize. So, but gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for attending, and tell us about your weekend. Give us a couple words. We're grateful. Your first time you've been to Indianapolis, as I understand. And the weather normally here is about 70 and sunny, so I apologize for the slight curveball. But congratulations, and what do you think the secret was today?
Stephen carried me, and it's about time he starts doing it like always. But I think I would have to come back once more to believe you on the weather, because this weather was absolutely terrible. Just kidding.
I said it with a smile. I guess not believable. So are you ready to start carrying?
I'm going to try. It's a big load, but I'll try.
Well, guys, hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys being here, and thank you to all of our spectators on a cold day. And we hope to see you guys. Best of luck on your ventures, as we've been talking as well. But we do hope to see you for the 51st Indy Open as well.
Thanks, and thanks for the great hospitality. We were treated phenomenally by everybody, so we really appreciate it. It's fantastic. I'm not saying that because we won. Even if we lost, we would have said the same thing.
And a quick shout out to Ricky and Kathy for having us at their house. It was awesome of them. Thank you.
Of course, Ricky. Of course. Well, we're Hoosiers and Midwesterners, and it's just the way we do it. But anyway, thank you to all, and have a great weekend.
All right. Well, Zach Held, on behalf of the APTA, I'm Mike Raleigh, and thanks for joining us in the booth. We will be back next Saturday with the one-day event from the Philly Open. So tune in. More will be online. Zach, thanks for having me, and great tournament there, my friend.
Hey, Mike, real treat, my man. And I think we'll have to get you down live next year so you can experience the atmosphere. That's my one request.
All right, I'm in. Book it. All right, thanks, Zach.
All
and
right,
good job.
everybody.